Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 143. Subscribe for edit videos daily. A kid's instant karma. Little bit of background: worked a total of 6 years at big box retailer with 3 years as a supervisor. This is one of my supervisor stories. TDLR at the bottom. Please forgive formatting on mobile. One night I was going about my business when one of my cashiers brought to my attention a pack of open candy. Specifically those white chocolate unwrapped Kit Kats in a bag, and said that a child had run into the restroom with a handful of the Kit Kats. Trying to figure out my next move, I saw a member of our security team, the ones that deal with thefts. I showed him the package and told him the boy was in the restroom. Just as I spoke, the boy comes out of the restroom with white chocolate candy all over his mouth. And the boy finds his mom, who had just checked out. She starts asking, "Why is there candy all over your mouth?" That's when security takes the open bag of candy and showed the mom. She put 2 and 2 together and she went off on the little boy. I'm talking expletives and saying things like, "All you to do is ask. You don't have to steal." In all the commotion, the grandmother offered to pay for the open candy, which she did, and then she had the other children that were with them ask her, "Can they have some?" The outraged mom slapped one of the boys upside his head and said, "We only had to buy it cause he stole it. So no, you can't have any." I can say one thing for sure. I hope that boy learned his lesson. TDLR. Little boy steals some candy and mom finds out and she goes off. In short, the boy should have learned his lesson. Thank you. Next. Sir, those brake pads were installed upside down. This was probably 10 years ago at this point, but I worked at an auto parts store right out of technical college. We sold brake pads with a lifetime warranty. The warranty covers manufacturing issues as well as long-term wear. You wear those brake pads down from normal use. You can then buy new ones and bring back the old ones for the warranty, or bring us the old ones and we can swap them out right there. What is not covered is improper use, installing on something other than the vehicle. The pads were intended, modifications to the pads, or, as in this case, improper installation. Cost, mechanic. The mechanic guy who purchased and apparently installed the pads. Me, yours truly, boss. My boss, Dusty W. My co-worker who was a master mechanic at a car company with a blue logo before a motorcycle accident prevented him from actually working on cars anymore. I say that all because he's the guy who would know what he's talking about. He was also in the back of the store and didn't hear any of the interaction. Mechanic guy comes in with the brake pads he purchased a short time ago. They are not at all usable anymore. He bought our top of the line ceramic brake pads. These pads were a fairly new product in our store at the time, and we didn't know how they actually performed. But they were marketed as the best ceramic pads you could buy for everyday driving as well as a little high-speed fun on the weekends. So to have them go bad in a short amount of time was odd, to be sure. Mechanic, these pads are garbage. I bought them a few months ago and they're already trashed. And they ruined my rotors. So you guys need to give me new pads and pay for new rotors too. I explained that we're sorry about the issue and we'd be glad to help in any way we can and blah blah blah. I take a look at the pads and immediately notice the odd wear pattern. It looks like the pads were installed upside down. Me, sir, these pads look like they were installed upside down. Mechanic, upside down? No, I am a mechanic. I have been working on cars for longer than you've been alive. This goes on for a hot minute, but the conversation followed those lines. How dare you, who do you think you are, threatens my job blah blah blah. Boss man hears the commotion and steps in to try to calm things down. Boss man, hi sir, what seems to be the issue here? Mechanic, this punk seems to think he knows better than me and claimed I installed my brake pads upside down. Boss man, sir, the wear pattern on these pads show that they were installed upside down. With that being the case, unfortunately we cannot warranty the pads out. The warranty does not cover improper installation. Mechanic, what kind of a store is this? Is this how you treat all of your customers? Blah blah blah. You know the drill. Boss man, sir, if it would make you feel better, we do have an employee who was a master mechanic for car company and keeps his automotive service excellence certifications current. Would you like him to take a look? Mechanic, absolutely. Get someone up here with a brain. Boss man, hey, CW, Can you come up here for a second? CW. Yeah boss. Walks up to the counter. What's up? Boss man. CW. Do you notice anything odd about these brake pads? CW. Yeah, looks like they were installed upside down. Mechanic guy is fuming at this point. He finally leaves with no new pads and no new rotors. My co-workers and I had a pretty good laugh about that, as well as a conversation about how the hell he installed the pads upside down. Some context. I did look like a punk. I was 18-20 years old, long shaggy hair, and was fresh out of mechanic school. I was in no way assuming I knew everything about cars. I just noticed the wear pattern and the notches worn out that indicated that the pads were installed upside down. As certifications are needed to get a job at any reputable mechanic shop. Getting one is tough, and getting multiple takes specialized training and studying. Master mechanic certifications are even tougher to get because you need specialized training from a specific company, car manufacturer, semi-manufacturer, agricultural machines manufacturer, motorcycles manufacturer, etc. So CW absolutely knew what he was talking about. Anyone who has done a brake job before, it's really not that hard if you have the right tools and a little know-how, knows it's pretty difficult to put new pads on an old caliper the right way. The pads and caliper are literally curved with the curvature of the brake rotor. How this guy got them on upside down is beyond me. Thank you. Next. Customer wants refund for $10 reward she got for free. This just happened an hour or so ago, but it was so frustrating dealing with this fucking Karen. So I work at a home goods store in the returns department. It's my last customer of the night, so of course she had to be difficult. Customer wants to return some items she paid for. Okay, no problem. But then she shows me the receipt and I see that she used multiple $10 rewards that were given to her from her store brand credit card. Problem is, these $10 rewards are a one-time use and deducts a certain amount of cents from each item on the receipt, so it's not just one line item you can return. So if she bought something that was $20, the $10 reward only took off $1. 00 or $0. 80 depending on how many items she bought. I try to explain this to her and say that the $10 reward is a one-time use, but she wasn't buying it. It was so hard to explain to her that she wasn't getting the reward money back and I could only refund what she spent by credit card. I ended up calling 2 managers over who debated with her back and forth for 20 fucking minutes. She got the reward for free, but she was acting like we were stealing from her. She kept saying she might as well burn up the reward paper she had with her. No matter what way we tried to explain it, you only get back what you paid for with your credit card. You didn't pay for the $10 it was given to you as a reward. Rewards are void after you. She just would not get it. Eventually I got her to complete the return, but she also tried to return some clearance items that we rejected straight away cause they were final sale. But JFC, this lady just got on my motherfucking nerves. Thank you. Next. One of our suppliers started acting like a child today. Something a bit different from the normal. I'm used to customers acting like children, but this is a first. Obligatory. I'm on mobile. Sorry if formatting a bit weird. TL. Doctor, one of our suppliers starting acting like a child and won't supply us anymore. All because we got a different brand of lures in. Bit of background. I run my family's small fishing tackle shop in Australia, and a lure maker called us up and offered exclusive rights to his lures and teasers in town. There's 2 fishing shops. This was about a month ago. So today we got the new lure brand in. I won't go into names for privacy reasons. We've been getting a few inquiries about them, so we thought we'd get them in. So I do the normal post on FB saying we have these new lures blah blah blah. About 3 hours later our main supplier calls up and says you can forget about stocking his lures if you're going to start getting the other brand in. After telling him that they offered us exclusive rights to his lures, and that what we buy off them will be nothing compared to what we get off you, our main supplier still wasn't having a bar of it. So I simply just hung up once the conversation was finished. There was a little bit more that happened after that, but it's really not that interesting. I fully expect the original supplier to call in the next few days. There will be an update if he does, to which I will tell him that I run this business, not him, and I'm going to do what's best for the business, especially during these tough times. And when he stops acting like a child, we can discuss putting his lures back in our shop. P.S. I called a few different fishing shops after this, Most of them said they've had the same issue, and some won't even stock his lures because of it. Thank you. Next. My friend just reminded me of this really bizarre event from when we worked together back in 2013. We were working in electronics at this time and it was an exceptionally busy day. A guy came over, maybe about 17/18. He was short, rail thin, wearing a red and white baggy basketball jersey style shirt, baggy AF shorts, sideways hat, like the whole 90s white boy aesthetic. Even had that wide swinging punk walk that's just embarrassing to watch. He took her over to the game case and tapped the glass. I want that'n. She stares at him. Okay up. Which? Taps glass again and repeats himself. She lists off the 8 games in the range of where he tapped. Finally she gets to the bottom of which game he wanted. Don't really remember which one it was. Comes back to the counter, rings it up and he goes to pay. He swipes his card. This was before chip reader in US in the most dramatically extravagant way while exclaiming Shark IT as he swipes his card. Kinda like he was doing a basketball dunk motion. Card read error. He does it again. Shark IT. Card read error again. And my poor co-worker is like, please just let me do it. But he was like, no, I got this. Shark IT. And finally his card reads. I'd forgotten about it entirely until she messages Shark IT on something I'd commented on. And now I'm cackling to myself while at work. Thank you. Next. A not so normal return. I am putting my 2 weeks notice in tomorrow as I head off to college. This was my first retail job, and let me say, retail is a whole new breed of work. When I first entered the store, I was a timid sales clerk that stumbled through my sentences. Now, I am funny and love to interact with customers of all types. I look back at this one customer, and you know what? I realize that some people are a whole different type of shopper. To the story, I work at a retailer that supplies a lot of home appliances and furniture. We have some of the best customers I have ever worked with, and we pride ourselves on being customer friendly. I have only had a handful of customers that get on my nerves, but most of my customers are lovely people. We opened before a lot of other stores in our area, and we had a lot of people coming in and out. We were also one of the few stores accepting returns. Us associates have very strict instructions to follow with returns, and some customers get confused and agitated with those instructions. Eventually, they get their money back, and we are able to quarantine those items. Most times. It was a sunny afternoon when I was working on the return desk. We had a specific register for returns at this time. The queue was rather thin, and the store was empty. I was one of 2 cashiers up there at the moment, and the other cashier was fetching a price check for something. The queue is set up where you have to go around a certain section to get to the front. The end of the queue is near the front of the store, so people typically realize they enter the wrong side of the queue and follow the directions on the floor. But, no, not this person. Let's call him Richard. For obvious reasons. I am getting ready to help the next people in the queue when Richard storms in with 2 bags in his hands. He is agitated. A blind man could see it. He cuts through the queue, the wrong way, and slams his receipt on the table. Return these for me. His tone immediately sets me off. I couldn't tell if he didn't see the people standing right there, or if he innocently went the wrong way. Sir, there is the queue. You came in the... No, I didn't. Return them, now. I was taken aback by his tone. I would have thought he was joking, honest to God. But, number. This guy was furious, for no reason. Folks, I will be right with you, okay? The 2 people in the queue nod and I get to work on the return. He proceeds to put the bag on the desk and a piece of torn off cardboard falls in my hands. The front of the tag is cut off, keep that in mind. I look at the first item and notice it is a set of bath mats. I look at the receipt on my screen, and it shows that there were 2 bath mats purchased. I look at the tag, as it is the one that goes to the mats. It clearly states that it is $14.99. The other purchased mats, that he didn't bring, are $24.99. Alright, sir, so this one will be refunded $14.99. If you could put your card in, it will go right back on there. Give that to me, he snaps as he takes my receipt. He then points at the $24.99. That is $24.99. I don't know what you are talking about. This is ridiculous. I give a small prayer up above before nodding and marking that return at $24.99. I wasn't going to fight him. As I am almost finished with that return, I notice he has a bag in his hand containing a small rug. Do you sell this here? I nod at him before he throws it on my counter. I look at the receipt and to the rug before realizing there is no way that this rug was on the receipt. Sir, I am afraid this rug is not on this receipt. There is not a tag on it either. However, if you give me a moment I can get you a price. I will need to see your driver's license. This is ridiculous. Put it back on my damn card already. I don't have my license. Why do you even need that? I take a silent breath before excusing myself to get a price. I come back and notice him tapping his fingers on my desk. He is looking at his phone while muttering something under his breath. It is $39.99, sir. I need your driver's license through or I can't give you the return. I told you before, I don't have it. Then we can't take it. He snatches the rug away, but he leaves the bag on my desk. I say a small prayer before finishing the transaction, or so I thought. Sir, I am afraid we are unable to take the bag. It is for our safety. Why? It's your damn bag. You're acting absolutely ridiculous at this point. I feel like the only work he knows is ridiculous. I start to get teary-eyed as he continues to rant at me. The people in the queue feel bad, but no one bothers to say anything. Just return the damn R. I am going to get my manager. I am starting to cry at this point as I can't handle being yelled at. You don't have to cry, just. I didn't hear him as I walked over to one of my managers and tell her that she can go deal with Richard. I am sobbing and take a moment in the break room. I never had a customer that angry before. After 10 minutes, I composed myself and ignored my tear-stained cheeks and bloodshot eyes. My manager asked me if I was alright, and I managed to choke out a yes. The rest of the customers that saw it apologized and asked if I was okay. I was. My manager ended up giving me a small thing of candy as she felt bad. I never thought I would have to deal with that, and I pray he doesn't come back in. Thank you. Next. You'll never guess what happened. This happened a few years ago. I used to work in mall. A coworker of mine worked at another store a few shops down and he would work there during the day and for some extra money come and work at our store Saint night a couple times a week. So one day I'm ringing up a customer, a guy probably in his 40s or 50s, when in the middle of the transaction a kid about 16 years old or some comes sprinting to the counter. Dad, we have to go, I just peed my pants. Well, the father quickly finishes the transaction and they leave. I look at my coworker like WTF was that? About 15 minutes later, the coworker from the other shop comes into work as scheduled and says, "You'll never guess what happened today." And I said, "A kid peed his pants in your store? How did you know?" We piece both of our stories together and have a little laugh. Unfortunately though, my coworker had to clean up the mess in his store. Luckily it was on the tile part of the floor and not the carpet.